So morning guys, just got to the boat.
Yes, we're going to have a quick cup of tea and crack on. We've got some volunteers coming down today.
So we've got a few jobs for them lined up. So.
And I've also stocked up on some drinks for them.
Some energy drinks so they work faster.
So let me just empty this to get to our milk for our cup of tea.
I can see the milk.
You can see the milk.
Still cold as well.
How many things have I fitted in this bag? Okay, so we've got Patrick, Paddy and Robbo coming down today. Looks like we've got more people with all the drinks that I fitted in there, didn't we? So we're going to have a look, see what jobs that we can all get to. I got this bag. I'm starting to really worry about power for the boat over the winter, because as we know, we struggle over the winter with the limited daylight hours of any decent sun we get for the solar. So we usually have the big fridge running all day for like one bottle of milk. Yeah. So I got this insulated cooler bag. We can keep our milk fresh in there all day and save some power instead of having the fridge running. So that's really good, and also it fits like loads of stuff in.
Apparently what I found really interesting with it as well, you can actually put ice in it. It's like watertight.
Yes, it is.
It's like you put ice in your bag normally, do you? But apparently you can in this.
So this will also be fantastic for like picnics at the beach and stuff, boat rides, taking your dinner in. Yeah. So yeah, I'll drop a link to the bag in the description. They are really handy, and also you can fill it like full of like loads of beers. And there's a bottle opener. So I like that one. Right then, let's go to work.
So the one we're going to move first is this massive lump there. So it's all the steel shots. So I probably won't be able to lift it anyway. But I won't be able to lift it because the bag's going to give up and then just dump all its shot all over the bilge, isn't it? So I'm going to hoover it. Like some feces, isn't it? So just having a quick break from the ballast. That's like harder than I thought. I thought it was all going to hoover out, and then but no, it's massive big clumps of it, so you're having to chip away, but obviously got to not go through past it into the hull. Anyway, so I'm now filling up the barrel because, as I said earlier, we're going to be jet washing, but we haven't got water here, have we? So but the tide's in, so down there we've got a pump. So we've got like a submersible big 240 volt water pump down there, so that's now pumping into our barrel. Quite a lot of volume, shows you. So then we'll take off through this pump and the filter. They'll go down this hose there to the jet wash that we haven't got set up yet, but I think I'm going to take 5 now while the water's in. It's quite windy as well today, so getting blown about a bit. So I've now got the majority of the mess out. That ballast was the hardest ballast I've ever had to move in my life. It was all, because it's because it's put in dry, then it all moulds around the stringers and the frames, but the burst bag on the top was the hardest. It just kept falling apart. Then he had to like really go into it with the chisel. Yeah, anyway, it took me, it was basically all day. I would say like a good 5 hours to remove that ballast. So onto the jet washing phase now. Got the jet wash set up. Yeah, give it a good blast.
So after Simon's awesome job in the bilge in the week, what did you find?
Lots of ballast.
Lots of ballast. And a poorly stringer. So we now need to take this section of floor up and assess the stringer fully.
What lies beneath the floor though? Or the
More
salt?
ballast!
Oh, I don't know. We have been under there, but I don't think it's full.
We're running out of places to put ballast at the moment because we've got so much of the floor opened
Any
up.
tips on hiding ballast, let us know. I was actually thinking at one point we should get like an IBC, put the IBC on the hardish, and then like fill it. Sorry, and then like fill it full of ballast. It's not going to go anywhere, is it? Yeah, but...
Right.
Let's go.
Ballast day again. Ah.
Not as much as you might have expected.
We've gone from ballast to oil drums.
Yeah, I remember putting that there now. So we've got some damage to a stringer here. So there was basically a massive lump of like iron shots which had basically wrapped around this stringer. So I think it basically collected and holding moisture and holding water. So it's done a lot of damage to this one here. So 2 foot to me is perfectly fine. So we can't quite see it yet because of this ballast is in the way. But this is the same stringer here, which is really good. So we need to put our sister in basically. So perfect time.
Let's see if there's any more damage down here.
Yeah. Hold on. What's in that pipe?
I hope it's not poo.
It was the poo pipe.
You're not smelling it.
So just cut it off like closer. Yeah, it's good there. Any poopy?
Yeah. Ah! 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 It's leaking brown water.
Does it stink?
I don't know, I'm scared to smell.
I can't smell it. Okay.
No! Ah!
Let's get rid of this one pretty quick.
When we're moving ballast, we always do it sort of on a time lapse, so you never actually really get to see how hard it is.
How long it takes. Yeah.
So there's a final piece down here which it's just like welded in.
Well, it's like, yeah, problem one is the access. Two, it's like, as Gemma said, it's welded everywhere. But then when you try and put a bit of weight on one side, it pushes it and wedges itself on the other side.
We can't get to the underneath to like put a strap on. So it's like, and it weighs a ton.
So we're basically putting wedges into it to try and give us some clearance underneath to get a strap around. Which we're getting closer. Oh yeah.
Wait, look when I was trying to get me strap. The ones that I couldn't go through, I was trying to go into a brick. And here comes Patrick to come and lift the last bit of ballast for us.
Oh, that's heavy. Why is that so heavy?
Because it's ballast. There we go.
It's like the bilge that keeps on giving. Still lead blocks down here. Proper wedged in. I've already got them ones out. So I need some muscles.
Patrick?
They're just so awkward.
Try and put the... Splits that way. Cool.
No, ballast free. Time to tidy up.
So we've got Paddy and Patrick upstairs doing some jobs, so we should go and see what they're up to. It's gonna look busy now. So what are you doing?
Breaking everything. Sealing all the gaps with a new roof. All the way along here. All the way along here and all the joints.
So there's like little gaps between, so before any installation goes in, it'd be good just to seal all these gaps, because it'll, don't know, maybe moisture goes into them or something like that, so. I've done this before, haven't he? Wow. What do you think of that gun?
That's great. Saves you pumping with your hand.
Yeah. You can get it. You can actually get it dead even. Well, he can, anyway, I can't. But you know, you can actually get it. It just comes out sort of at the same rate continuously. It would be the same rate for the whole tube.
There you are.
Well done. So we thought we'll do this before the winter, because obviously, yeah, as I said, we need to put insulation in, but then we need to let the adhesive go off, and also then we want to give it another paint. So before we get any moisture and any condensation up there, and get it all sealed.
Job's a good one.
She's in her element. Are you loving it?
This is definitely one of the worst bilges that I've done. It's just...
Well, do you remember below the water tanks down
Oh
there?
yeah, okay, yeah, that was like slop, but that stunk, didn't it? This doesn't smell, it's still sloppy now. I'm still waiting for Patrick to offer to come down here and clean it for me.
No.
Kids.
At least he's not playing on his game, are you?
No.
No.
What games do you play on?
Roblox and stuff.
Roblox?
Yeah.
Right, so What we do now, we scraping?
I just, yeah, I'm going to start scraping. But I'll probably just check back in when I finish because you've seen me clean bilges like millions of times. Quite bored, innit?
Okay, bye. What have you found?
Found a bit of rot in my gun supports.
Your gun supports?
But,
so
we haven't got a gun. So,
we haven't got a gun.
Do we need gun supports? We actually went down last week to the Medusa, our sister ship. Ignore the hair, but it was dipping in the bilge. They, on the Medusa, they actually haven't got these.
Well, no, there is, but they're a lot skinnier, and there's no. It's in place of the web frame.
Yeah, but we're going to put a web frame back there. Because, yeah, that's definitely rotten.
But I quite like them as part of a feature of the story of the boat. But down here, it's got a big crack in it, and it's rotten. And this is held on to it.
That's not doing anything now. So that can go because that was just a locker back in the day. So I think if you can get that out for me now,
yeah,
and then we can assess the other side of this.
And then we can have a proper clean up then, can't it?
Yeah, that's the plan. Okay,
so we're going to remove this. Not sure what it's for, quite heavy duty. Probably find out what it exactly was, because it's right below the gun. Maybe it's just actually to add structure to the hull, but it would be in metal, and maybe it was like a sort of an ammunition locker or something, don't know. Anyway, so we need to cut it. So what we've noticed here is that all this is bulged because all the ballast has been against it. You can see my fingers through there. But that's good, because then we can get the rip saw in there. So I've already cut through that one. So away. That was easier than I thought. And now I'll switch to the grinder. Yeah, there is a fix in there.
It is quite amazing how well these ships were, boats, were built. You know, we find that all like the work done in the 1940s is just solid, isn't it? You know, you're fighting with it to get a rusty piece of metal out that you think after 80 years would just be like a ball of rust, but it's not, is it?
No, it's just fighting. It's the wood that's the Ah, that's good. So it didn't actually go right under. It just stopped at the so maybe we should replace that actually.
Okay.
We can scarf it up there, can't we?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's the bit I did.
Are you ready? I've scrubbed it as much as I can. I've got as much crap out as I can. Time for the jet wash. Someone took over my job. got some stuff that we bringing onto the boat, and then we need some rubbish removing off, don't we?
Yeah.
Right, let's get this done.
Right, so we know there's fuel in it, don't we? Yeah? So before we untie the lines, we should always make sure this thing goes. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, if you untie yourself, what might happen?
You might get tangled.
You might get tangled, or you might get taken out to sea, or you might run into rocks or something. So it's always good to know that this is going to go. So we set the throttle. This here's the throttle, by the way. I didn't explain that, did I?
No.
So you put it onto the restart, okay? Yeah, so because it's already warm, so we've got to put a restart. When I pull this in a minute, it should go. So we make sure it's in neutral, because if it's in forward, it won't even let you pull it, you see? So in reverse, it won't let you pull it, so it'll only pull when we're in neutral, okay? So I've got to give this an almighty pull now, to make sure the fuel vent is open, because when you put the engine up, it'll leak fuel, okay? So now it runs, yeah? Now, just have a feel of the throttle. Yeah? So that makes it go faster, and obviously you're going very slower now, yeah? But we're not in gear, we're neutral at the moment. Okay? So what we need to do is put this on you. Because you are the captain now, aren't you, eh? So if you turn it that way, yeah, the boat turns that way. So if you turn it that way, and the boat turns that way. Yeah?
Okay, I get it.
Let's try and go between the green and the red one, yeah?
Yeah, between.
So right in the middle of that. So go on, a bit faster. But sometimes going faster doesn't help, does it?
No.
So whenever you
It
manoeuvre,
normally takes you that way.
yeah, whenever you're manoeuvring a boat, right, slow and boring is best. So which side of the boat do we want to keep this green on?
This side.
Which is which side?
Starboard.
Well done, because this is our green line, one on this side. So can you see the perch there, which is the red lateral marker, isn't it? Yeah, so ideally, in a bit we'll actually see this will be the deepest part of the channel, and this here will be dead shallow. Yeah? Because you never know what's under this water, do you? Right under the surface. Okay, that's good. A bit more. That's it.
That's
Right,
good.
straighten up now. You're doing very, very good, yeah. Alright, let's see if we can hold the course for a bit.
But the skip.
When you put it in, I'll tell you what that was. Right, so have a little, let's give it a stirring.
Switching it.
This is the first time you've given a tiller down. So this is actually Paddy's first ever time driving an outboard, so I think he's doing quite well. Just like that.
I don't know when I'm on my way, but it's low. Got to go and see and go. One day when the ticket is no will make anything go.
Did you have fun driving the boat?
Yeah.
There you go. Learned something new again today, didn't you? How to drive the tender. Training you up, aren't we? Soon he'll be able to drive the boat all on his own and do all the rubbish removals without us.
Maybe.
Yeah. So you're happy with how clean the bilge come up?
Kind of.
Kind of. It looks worse than it is, doesn't it? Once it's all painted,
Oh, it's even better.
it'll look even better.
Anyway, quite excited. We've got some new lines to go around Sarinda. Yeah, because we've got these massive big lines, haven't we, which I've got faith in, but they're really big around the cleats, and I don't quite trust that they're not going to slip from the cleats. So we've got 200 metres, so we've got to try and replace as many lines as possible.
All for our winter prep.
All for our winter prep, yeah. So we got this from English braids. Not braids like you put in your hair, it's braided lines. So we got it from the Southampton Boat Show, which them guys actually helped us out, so thank you so much for that. So should we go and have a look on what we got up to in Southampton Boat Show?
Look who we found at the show.
Walking around.
Hi guys. Hello, Ship Happens gang.
It's like a weekly occurrence being with these lot now, isn't it? The wedding last week and now the show.
And in a couple of weeks we're going to come up and help these guys do some work on their boat.
We're going to teach them how to do the joys of wooden boats.
Yes, yeah. No,
What do you think, Jack? Are you going to come and get your tools out? Yeah.
Yeah, I just need a toolbox.
You need a toolbox.
And some tools.
Oh, alright, okay, I'll be buying you that then.
Right, well,
I'll lend you some tools.
we'll see you on board Sarinda very soon.
Yes, very much so. Take care.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
We're now just on a little ferry trip, aren't we, as part of the boat show?
I was walking past and he said, "You want to come on a boat trip? It's free."
Yeah.
So, okay, we just jumped on some guy's random boat.
That's fast.
Budget. And over there, was it HSL 102?
HSL 102.
So I think it's got about 6 or 7 Raymarine screens in here. So he said to us, "Let's go out for a little spin." And I'm like, okay, if you've got time. So we're going to get a bit educated on some Raymarine stuff. So fantastic.
Look at this boat there, it's a beautiful boat.
So, for instance, come out a little bit, you can get the radar to talk to the camera. So what you can do, say for instance that, whatever that target is.
They all hone in on that.
Yeah. So what you can do is like that one over there, that target, you can acquire target. It sounds like military, like we're going to
That's great, yeah.
But you can acquire the target and then you can tap on it and then you can get more options, track with camera, and then the camera go and keep on it, and that's it.
And then you can launch a missile.
Exactly.
Yes!
You can then weapons away. So yeah, so then the camera will stay on that. So 4.2 litre V6, 300 horsepower. A bit of fun with it. You ready?
Ready?
What's that?
Let me have a go.
Do you want to have a go? Do you want to have a go?
Yeah, I'm not going fast though.
No, you can have a go. Right, let me stop it. You jump
Do you
up.
trust me?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah, come on.
Look at her, you don't know me well enough.
That's alright, come on. Right. So, that's the wheel. That goes left and right.
Okay.
And that bit goes forward and
yeah.
backwards. So if you just nudge it forward slightly, then it will click in. Right, you're in gear now.
Okay.
So now, so if you push it a little bit more. Right, so you're starting to go. That's it. It feels a bit heavy. Let me move that up out your way. Okay. So push it forwards. Come on. And then if you feel like you're a little bit fast, pull it back a little bit.
of fuel you ever do.
Go on then, a little bit more throttle. Let's get up on the plane. That's it. Now we get there. Is that fun?
Beautiful, isn't it?
Bit of fun, isn't it?
I think it's definitely the fastest boat we've been on.
Forward.
It's on over, what was the top speed then? 31?
Yeah, I think 37, remember, I was going down the back.
That's good going there. That's too fast.
Yeah.
For a fishing boat. It's a fishing boat. It's not a speedboat, it's a fishing boat. Listen to it, listen to the noise.
Good. You never met him?
It's like my kind of boat, this. It's very sort of industrial. It reminds me of like a Lamborghini, very sort of angular and like serves a purpose. Proper strong aluminium hull. It's cool, really, really, really cool. I mean, it's just the flare. So earlier on, he basically found a target on the radar and then locks the flare in to follow this target. It just kept continuously following the target. Awesome piece of kit. And the open array radar, that's cool, isn't it? I think we need an open array on Sarinda.
Well, we're in the Coastal Forces Museum at Gosport. It's called Night Hunters, and it tells the story of Coastal Forces from its inception in 1919 right up to the present day. Coastal Forces is a largely forgotten branch of the Royal Navy, but actually it achieved in World War II much more than the mainstream Royal Navy. And behind me there's two complete vessels. They're not replicas, they're real ones that saw service. And starting in 1919, each of the exhibits goes through and tells a particular part of the story. It's all based around people and what the people did, and all the artifacts support that story. It's worth a visit. There's two videos as well that talk about the inception of Coastal Forces, World War I, World War II, and then there's a reenactment or reconstruction of a raid on a German convoy by motor torpedo boats. This was filmed with MGB-81 and Medusa, and it's stunning. It's really worth seeing.
Oh, I recognise that bum anyway. So we are having a poke round in the Medusa's bilges, just to see differences and compare stuff, and we've actually realised that the engine bearers in the Medusa are actually a lot further back than what ours are. So there's the end of the engine bearers, and if you look, we've still got all of that boat in front of us. There's our engine bearers finish about 6 foot forward, then we've got the bulkhead. So it's strange how many, you know, HDMLs, every one of them is sort of unique and was built slightly different. Which goes to show there's no right or wrong way to do anything. You'll also notice the Medusa doesn't have any ballast in the bilges. She doesn't have any ballast at all. That's because the original engines weighed 3.5 ton each. I'm really jealous.
So these big bolts, and obviously I've seen the heads of these big bolts, but ours are stainless.
Oh right, they've been replaced.
Ours have all been replaced.
These are silicon bronze.
Okay. So that holds the keel on.
They go right through the keel, and they're anything up to that long.
Okay.
So this is the same area of hull that we've just cleaned out in today's episode. So it's nice to actually have a boat where we can go to and compare Sarinda to the Medusa. So there we go, another day, another bilge. Just wait.
Another boat show. That was good though, wasn't it?
We had a really, really good time at Southampton Boat Show, didn't we?
Yeah, it was really cool.
And it was also really nice to go back and visit the Medusa. So thank you so much, Alan, for letting us back on board.
And thank you, Will, for letting us have a go of his boat. That was cool.
That was awesome. So go and check out Will at Smart Fishing UK.
Yeah.
His boat
Yeah, it was proper.
is like next level.
You're going to put a link to his YouTube in it?
I'll put a link to his YouTube and his Instagram and stuff like that because that's really interesting to follow. So thank you so much, Will, from Smart Fishing UK.
Yeah. So another thank you as well for the bag.
Yes, from Everfun, which is keeping my milk lovely and
cool. Yeah, it's really cool
upstairs.
actually. It's really cool.
I'll drop a link to the description of the bags in the description. I'll drop a link to the description in the description in the you know what I mean.
Check it out.
I don't, it's too late in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all so much as well to Paddy and Patrick for all their amazing help today.
Yeah, they've been cool.
Which has been really good. So hopefully they'll come back again very soon. Right, I'm tired, let's go home.
Cheers guys.
Like and subscribe!